across the endless golden plains of the African savannah. Time flows not in hours but in movements of the wild. The thunder of hooves, the whisper of the wind through acacia leaves, and the deep guttural roar of kings. The sun rises over a land that never sleeps. Dust hangs in the air like smoke from an ancient fire. In this kingdom without walls, power is claimed, defended, and lost in cycles as old as the earth itself. And now, that cycle is beginning again. From the eastern fringe of the savannah, where the soil is dry and the water holes scarce, a coalition emerges. 4 males, young, muscular, and ruthless. They walk in synchronized silence, the tips of their manes catching the first rays of sunlight. Their bodies bear the scars of past battles, and yet their eyes burn with a hunger still unfulfilled. These are the Olorian brothers, born of exile, forged in blood, and driven by a single instinct, conquest. They move like shadows over the land, their paws barely disturbing the dust. They are not the rightful kings of this place, not yet. But they do not intend to beg for permission. They will take what they want when the moment is right. Far to the west, in the heart of the grassland empire, another coalition reigns. Known as the Mafalme dynasty, these males are veterans. 2 brothers, larger and older, their manes thick and blackened by age and dominance. They've ruled this region for 5 seasons, presiding over 3 prides, countless offspring, and miles of territory. Their reign has brought relative peace, but peace in this world is simply the pause between storms. Each morning, the Mfalme males rise and patrol the boundaries of their land, scent-marking bushes, roaring at the horizon, ensuring their presence is known. They have faced intruders before, scattered lesser coalitions, chased away hungry nomads. But age creeps in like the slow curl of dusk. Their steps are not as swift, their battles not as clean. And somewhere deep within they know, every kingdom eventually draws challengers from the shadows. The challenge is already coming. The Olorian brothers are no ordinary threat. They are not rogue wanderers or broken males seeking scraps. They are a unit, synchronized, bonded by shared battles and purpose. In the harsh months of exile, they learned to rely on each other to survive. When they lost their natal pride, they didn't scatter. They sharpened themselves against the blade of hardship. Now, they are a blade ready to cut through the heart of the Mfalme territory. Their approach is calculated. For weeks they remain ghosts, trailing the borders, observing patrols, listening to roars echoing in the night. They follow the movements of the Mfalme prides, watching the lionesses, noting the paths of cubs, the routines of sentries. The savannah may appear open and wild, but to these males, it is a map of opportunities and weaknesses. And then, movement. Lioness, hunting alone, strays toward the eastern fringe. She is from the Riverbend Pride, one of the prides under the Mfalme's protection. She doesn't sense the 4 shadows trailing her at first. She is lean, focused, scanning for prey. But lions are not the only hunters in this land. When the wind shifts, she senses them. Eyes, breath, presence. She bolts, not for her life, but for the safety of her pride. The Olorian brothers do not chase. They let her go, intentionally. She is the message. That night, the savannah trembles. The Mfalme brothers hear the distant roars, foreign, deep, defiant. They rise from their resting spot and answer with bellows of their own. A conversation begins, carried by the wind. The Olorian males reply from the shadows beyond the grass. Roars, in lion society, are not just declarations. They are battles of breath and will. Each roar maps territory, challenges intruders, claims dominion. For hours the plains echo with thunderous sound. The stars above shimmer coldly, indifferent to the storm rising below. When dawn breaks, it finds both coalitions on edge. The Mfalme dynasty increases its patrols. Their lionesses grow restless. Cubs are kept closer to the dens. The older brother Kiongozi takes to patrolling twice daily, while the younger Jabari scouts deeper into the fringes. Their massive frames are still imposing, but the enemy is young, and youth is a fire that consumes without hesitation. The Olarian brothers are patient. They test the boundaries, sometimes charging the scent marks, sometimes slipping past under cover of darkness. Each move is a chess piece. They are looking for the crack in the armor, the opening that always comes, and then it arrives. A heavy storm rolls in from the south. Lightning splits the sky, and rain falls in sweeping sheets. The savannah becomes a world of sound and motion. In the confusion, the Olarian males strike. They cross the eastern border and push deep into Riverbend Pride territory. Their presence is immediate. They scatter the females, roar into the wind, and claim a ridge above the dens. But it is not yet the final battle. Kiongozi and Jabari arrive at first light, mud streaking their flanks, manes soaked and wild. They roar defiantly, announcing their return, demanding confrontation. The two coalitions come face to face. Across the ridge, 8 eyes lock, muscles tense, ears twitch, tails lash, but neither side makes the first move. This is not hesitation. It is calculation. A full confrontation here in open ground among rocky escarpments and slick mud would be suicide. The Olarian brothers retreat, but not in defeat. They have tested the resolve of the Mfalme kings, and they have found fatigue. The weeks that follow, the savannah holds its breath. The Olarian brothers are everywhere, yet nowhere. Like phantoms, they sweep through the grass at dusk, vanish by dawn. They target the outlying prides first, driving away lionesses, killing cubs. It is cruel, but it is strategy. Infanticide is the first step in a hostile takeover. With no cubs, the lionesses return to estrus. And when the new males arrive, they will be ready to mate, to rebuild under new bloodlines. The Mfalme kings are pulled thin. They fight off intrusions in the west while struggling to maintain dominance in the east. Each roar they give is answered. Each boundary they mark is overstepped. Then one morning, Kiongozi returns from patrol with a limp, a wound on his flank. Not deep, but troubling. It is a sign. The Olarian brothers have begun testing more than territory. They have tasted the flesh of a king and found it vulnerable. The final battle is no longer a question of if, but when. Rain falls again as the savannah prepares. The herds move uneasily. Vultures circle high above, drawn by the scent of conflict. Hyenas grow bold, trailing both coalitions, waiting for weakness to spill into blood. And in the dark, under a low tree beside the marsh, the Olarian brothers lie in wait. Their eyes gleam with purpose. Their breaths are steady. They are ready to bring the old kingdom down. Because in the wild, peace is a myth, power is fleeting, and kings do not share thrones. Only one coalition will stand when the dust finally settles, and the savannah will remember their names. The wind carries no mercy across the plains. It whistles through thorn scrub and golden grass, whispering of blood and vengeance. The sky, once vast and indifferent, lowers itself over the savannah like a watchful predator. Even the birds fall silent. Something ancient stirs. A reckoning is coming. Beneath a stand of fever trees, the Mfalme brothers stand side by side. Kiongozi, aged, proud, but limping. Jabari, still strong, but now haunted by doubt. Their eyes scan the plains, searching not for prey, but for ghosts. In the grass, ghosts with names, the Olorian brothers. For weeks the balance of power has teetered on a knife's edge, but now with the cubs slain, the lionesses scattered and boundaries breached, the final confrontation can no longer be delayed. The throne of the Savannah lies exposed, and only blood will decide who claims it. At dusk, the brothers make their move. Kiongozi leads the way, though his limp slows him. He moves with the weight of a lion who has ruled, who has bled for his land, and who knows he may not see another sunrise. Beside him, Jabari's breath is low and steady, his ears twitching at every sound. They are not hunting. They are marching into war. The trail leads east, toward the river flats, where whispers say the Olorian brothers have made their den in the tall grass. Vultures gather in the sky above, spiraling like omens, and in the thickets the air is thick with scent. Fresh. Male lions. 4 of them. The ambush is not swift. It begins with a low growl, a tremor in the earth, then a second, and a third. Out of the grass, the 4 Olorian males rise like shadows, shoulders hunched, manes bristling, eyes locked. They do not roar. They do not need to. The Mfalmi brothers halt, 2 against 4. Old age against hungry youth, legacy against ambition. Kiongozi steps forward, body stiff, head high. His roar tears through the dusk, long and thunderous. It echoes across the savannah, a final declaration of kingship. The Olorian brothers respond, not with sound but with action. They charge. The clash is brutal. Teeth meet flesh. Claws rake through fur. Dust explodes into the air as bodies collide. Kiongozi lunges at the largest of the Olorian males, Tano, the second-born, known for his brute strength. Their bodies twist and crash, rolling through thorn and soil. Beside them, Jabari takes on 2 attackers at once, Nuru and Baraka, the youngest, agile and fast. They circle him like jackals, feinting and lunging, trying to wear him down. Jabari roars with fury, swiping hard and landing a blow that sends Baraka stumbling. But it is not enough. Kiongozi, separated from his brother, struggles against the combined strength of Tano and the coalition leader Zuberi, the firstborn, the strategist, the one who has waited years for this night. Kiongozi's old wounds reopen. Blood stains his mane. He fights on, but each movement is slower than the last. Then, with a devastating strike, Tano pins Kiongozi to the ground. For a brief moment, the savannah holds its breath. Kiongozi looks up, not with fear but with defiance. He roars one last time. Then silence. The old king falls. Jabari sees it. His brother lying still, the dust settling around his mane like ash. Grief burns through him, a fire of rage and sorrow. He charges, roaring madly, and collides with Baraka once more. Their clash is furious, wild. But Jabari is outnumbered. A bite to the spine, a blow to the flank. Zuberi joins the assault, and the 3 brothers bring Jabari to the ground, yet he does not surrender. With a final burst of strength, Jabari throws Nuru off and lunges at Zuberi, his jaws clamping down on the younger lion's shoulder. Zuberi roars in pain, staggering back. For a heartbeat, Jabari stands over the fallen leader, and then Tano strikes again. A crushing blow to Jabari's side drops him to the earth. The battle ends not with a roar, but with the low groan of the wounded, the heavy pant of lions reclaiming breath. The Olorian brothers rise, bloodied but victorious. The Mfalmi dynasty is over, and just like that, the crown changes heads. In the days that follow, the savannah reshapes itself. The Olorian brothers move swiftly, consolidating power. They return to Riverbend Pride territory, roaring their dominance, scent marking every bush. rubbing their manes against the trees where Kiongozi once passed. The lionesses return, cautious at first, then resigned. Cubs born of the old kings are hunted and killed, each death a terrible necessity. The new rulers must erase the past to build their own future. Within weeks, the pride is reborn under new leadership. Zuberi, though wounded, resumes his role as leader. Tano remains the enforcer, ever vigilant, while Nuru and Baraka patrol the fringes. They divide their duties, coordinate their movements, and protect their prize with obsessive focus. Their bond, hardened by years of exile, is now their greatest strength. But ruling is harder than conquest. The Olorian brothers now face the burdens of leadership, defending territory, feeding cubs, managing rival threats. Hyenas, once passive observers, grow bold again, testing the edges of the kingdom. Lone males circle from beyond the hills, drawn by the scent of new rulers and the promise of weakness, and among the lionesses, unease simmers. Zuberi tries to maintain order, but he lacks the wisdom of Kiongozi. He is young, ambitious, and impulsive. Tano is feared, but not respected. Baraka's temper flares easily. Nuru often wanders too far, distracted by old instincts. The throne they claimed now demands more than muscle. It demands unity. And unity, in a kingdom built on blood, is never guaranteed. One evening deep in the northern sector, the Olorian brothers receive news. A new coalition has been spotted. 3 males, scarred and lean, moving westward. No one knows their names, only that they are bold. Roars echo in the distance once more, not as challenge but as invitation. The circle tightens again. Zuberi climbs a termite mound and looks out over his kingdom. The wind stirs his mane. His shoulder aches from the wound Jabari left behind. In the fading light, the plains shimmer like fire. Somewhere out there, more kings wait in silence. The battle is never truly over. It simply changes faces. For in the heart of the wild, the throne is not built of gold. It is forged in dust, tested in blood, and ruled only for a time. And when the next reckoning comes, only those who dare endure. The Olorian brothers have claimed their place for now. But the Savannah watches, and the shadows are always moving. The rains have come and gone, and with them the last traces of blood have washed from the grass. What remains is not silence, but something deeper, a stillness steeped in memory. The bones of old kings lie buried beneath the acacia trees. The scent of past battles lingers in the soil. And overhead, vultures trace the invisible scars that time can never heal. Weeks have passed since the Olorian brothers took the throne. The Savannah has accepted their rule, outwardly. But beneath the surface, the land remembers. Lions live, in the present, but they are shaped by ghosts. On the edges of the Olorian kingdom, the lionesses carry on. Their roles are eternal. They hunt, they nurture, they survive. The memory of Kiongozi and Jabari is etched into their eyes, not as sorrow, but as fire. Some of the lionesses were once mates to the fallen kings, mothers to their lost cubs. Now they must bond with the new rulers, or risk exile, or worse. The transition is not smooth. Zuberi, ever the tactician, begins the process of courtship. He follows the lionesses, scenting them, waiting for signs of estrus. His approach is calculated, his presence constant. Tano, more direct, asserts his claim through intimidation. He is powerful but harsh. The lionesses yield to him but never fully trust him. Baraka and Nuru linger in the shadows. They watch the older females with wary fascination and stalk the younger ones with restless hunger. But lions are not simply creatures of conquest. They are bound by instinct, by need, by legacy. The lionesses test their new rulers. One night, a lone female, Saba, leads her cub into the dense thickets near the river. The cub is not of the Olorian bloodline. It is a miracle that he survived the takeover hidden away during the chaos. But now Saba must choose, flee, or submit. She pauses at the river's edge, eyes gleaming with fear. Behind her, Zuberi steps from the grass. He has followed her. He knows. And yet, he does not strike. He looks at the cub, small, trembling, defiant. Then he looks at Saba, not with threat, but with something strange, recognition. Perhaps he remembers a night long ago when he too was small and trembling, hidden from roaring males by a desperate mother. Perhaps for one moment the weight of blood is too heavy. He turns away. The cub lives, but mercy in the world of lions is fleeting. Elsewhere in the kingdom, danger brews. The coalition's unity, once their greatest strength, begins to strain beneath the burdens of rule. Zuberi grows impatient with Tano's heavy-handed ways. Tano distrusts Zuberi's quiet ambition. Baraka feels increasingly ignored, left to patrol the borders while his brothers court favor, and Nuru, youngest and most reckless, wanders further and further from the pride. One evening, Nuru does not return. His scent trail vanishes in the direction of the rocky escarpment, where rogue males have been spotted. The land there is barren, scarred by drought and fights for carcasses. It is no place for the careless. Zuberi sends Baraka to track him. 2 days pass. Then a roar, broken, panicked, echoes back through the Thornveld. Baraka finds him beneath a gnarled baobab tree, his flank torn open, his breath shallow. He has been attacked, ambushed perhaps, by rival males testing the edge of the Olorian kingdom. They have begun to scent the weakness. Zuberi, furious, roars across the savannah, calling his brothers back. The pride gathers, uneasy. The lionesses sense it, the trembling of a kingdom too new, too raw. They move closer to one another, protectively, as if waiting for the sky to crack open again. In the days that follow, the bond between the Olorian brothers begins to fray. Zuberi accuses Baraka of failing to protect Nuru. Tano blames Zuberi for spreading them too thin. Old tensions surface: who truly leads, who truly matters. They are no longer outlaws fighting for a dream. They are kings, and kings must rule. But ruling, as Kiongozi once knew, is more than brute force. It is patience, wisdom, restraint, and none of them have learned that fully. Then, from the east comes a new threat. Not a lion, but a scent. Familiar, and yet foreign. It belongs to a coalition known only in whispers. The Nomads of Flame. 3 brothers, hardened by fire-scorched, terrain and famine, driven west by drought. Their manes are thin, their ribs sharp, but their eyes burn with desperation. Desperation is a dangerous weapon. The Olorian brothers hear their roars days before they arrive. A message, a challenge. The throne is never truly secure. Zuberi gathers, the pride beneath the baobabs, just as Kiongozi once did. The memory is not lost on the lionesses. They stand in the same circle, hear the same speech. The faces have changed, but the rhythm of war is familiar. This time, there is no surprise. There is preparation. Tano sharpens his claws against the tree trunks, pacing with restless fury. Baraka stalks the perimeter, scent marking every trail. Nuru, his wounds fresh but healing, volunteers to fight. But Zuberi sits alone. He, stares out across the savannah, where the wind dances with dust and shadows stretch long toward the horizon. For the first time he understands the burden Kiongozi carried. Not the pride, not the land, but the fragile illusion of permanence. All kings fall, some in battle, some in betrayal, some slowly, eaten away by doubt. The nomads arrive under a veil of twilight. Their manes catch the dying sun like smoke. Their eyes burn, not with rage but with hunger. The hunger of lions who have lost everything and will give everything to rise again. The battle is inevitable, but it is not like the last. This is not an ambush. This is not vengeance. This is the ancient law of lions, the test of the rightful king. The Olorian brothers meet the nomads at the river's edge. There are no roars, only silence, broken by the slow, deliberate steps of 6 lions circling one another beneath the acacias. Then the first lunge. Zuberi meets the nomad leader head-on, teeth flashing. Dust explodes. Tano throws himself into the fray, tackling the largest outsider. Baraka and Nuru engage the third nomad with desperate fury. It is chaos. Roars crack the air, claws tear fur, blood spatters the sand. This time the outcome is not swift. The nomads fight with the desperation of lions who have nothing to lose. The Olorian brothers fight with the weight of everything to protect. And when the dust settles, it is not clear who has won. Zuberi lies wounded, but breathing. Tano is limping, his eye swollen shut. One of the nomads is dead. Another drags himself into the reeds, disappearing into the darkness. The third, the leader, stands facing Zuberi, both lions too exhausted to strike again. And then he walks away. Not in defeat. Not in retreat, but in respect. Zuberi does not follow. He watches the nomad vanish into the bush, then turns back toward his brothers. The battle is over. But something has changed. The Olorian brothers return to their territory, not as conquerors, but as survivors. The lionesses greet them with silent eyes. The cubs hide behind their mothers. The kingdom still stands, but now its edges are frayed. Zuberi steps onto the same mound where Kiongozi once stood. He looks out across the savannah. He knows now what legacy means. Not the throne, not the fear, not even the bloodline. Legacy is the dust that clings to your paws when you fall, the scars you wear for others. The stories that echo after your roar fades. Beneath the sky where stars begin to pierce the night, the land exhales. The kingdom remains, for now. But somewhere beyond the hills, a new coalition is forming. Somewhere in the night, young lions sharpen their claws, waiting for their moment. And when it comes, they too will rise, they too will fight. They too will leave their legacy in the dust.